It's a new year and it's a new fair. Welcome to UMA 2024.
What is going on, all you bus nuts, geeks, and enthusiasts out there? Welcome to Raleigh, North Carolina 2024 UMA Expo Bus Show. We're on the showroom right now. It is an absolutely beautiful place if you like buses. Everything that has to do with buses, including tools, gadgets, wheels, down to the cloth of the seats. Any peripheral gear for buses, including the buses themselves, are here, and it's all the latest and greatest. Yeah, if you're into that, it's one giant bus nerd party.
Thank you so much, James, for this wonderful introduction of this video. And it's so nice to be back here in America to go on a bus fair. And we will now go around here to take a look at all the different brands that's present. And we see one thing. It's not many electrical vehicles here in America. In Europe and bus world last year, we saw that it was only electric or hydrogen. Of course, some diesel buses, but here it's only one electric coach present. So let's go around and take a look at all the different buses and coaches that is here in UMA 2024.
We are at Prevost 100 years anniversary stand here at UMA. And behind me we have the H345. It's a 45-foot long coach. It's an exclusive coach with a lot of features. So this is something that we really enjoy looking at and be a driver in, and also sitting in the seats. It's beautiful design. It was launched 1 year ago. It has been a success story since day one. When I went on board in this coach, I could see some details that I know from Europe. It's the Volvo steering wheel, and I love it when you can move it, lift it up exactly as you want as a driver. And another thing I could see, that the dashboard is more what I like. You have in Europe the Volvo new coach 9700, 9900. I don't like the dashboard. I don't like the buttons. But in this one, this is a Volvo family coach. Why can't they copy this one over to Europe? The regulation on digital mirrors here in the US is different from what we are used to in Europe. In Europe, you can already have only digital mirrors if you like. But here in the US, if you want to have digital mirrors, you still need to have the analog mirrors. So it's not that you can take away your analog mirrors and put only digital, you have to have both, just like behind us. Prevost don't only have the brand new bus here, they also have the very first coach ever made. The whole story of Prevost started in 1924. And behind me we have the first coach that was ever built. It's not exactly that one that was built in 1924. This is a replica built on the Reo chassis, Reo truck chassis from Michigan, and it's handmade. Everything is handmade. Inside is wood, and even the driving seat is a wooden box you are sitting on. It's really old-fashioned way to travel, and it's beautiful. I really love this coach, and as you can see, it's standing there with all the lights on. It's something that really attracts people to come here.
Behind me we have the Mercedes-Benz 2-Rider, and this has been a huge success for Mercedes-Benz and Daimler, and they have sold many units, but the best part for them is that the vehicle has such a great reputation, so that now Mercedes-Benz is getting brand new customers that they didn't have before. And that's a big step and milestone for Daimler here in the North American market. As you can see, the design is beautiful, and if you look at other buses and coaches in America, they look very the same, they are square, and the design doesn't look as appealing always. But when you look at the 2-Rider, you get the feeling of comfort. You want to come into the coach and sit on as a passenger. And even the operator says that people are stopping in the street looking at it. Everybody is saying, wow, it's a beautiful coach coming. We didn't have these references last year because then we only had the demo versions. But now the coaches have been on the road for a year, and we can tell by security that 2-Rider has been a success in the US market. As we talked about last year, this coach is also built in Turkey, just like the European Turismo. This is a little bit different production because it's 5 centimeters wider, that's all, and the whole bus is constructed of stainless steel, and this is the first time Mercedes-Benz is doing that. So the coach is heavy and robust, and you also have the wheelchair lift above the back axles, so you will have a good access also for the wheelchair. And this is a great solution because back in Europe, when you see the Turismo with this kind of solution of lift and elevator, they will have it behind the front axle, and that steals a lot of luggage capacity. Here you go clear for the luggage capacity, and you can still load the luggages that you want to have on board. And the coach in total is 45 foot. But as you can see here, and also on all the other coaches here in the stand, everyone will have the bumpers both in the front and in the back. And this is a great safety feature because when you build a coach, the coach itself has to be 45 foot long. But in the front and the back you can add bumpers, and that's not included in those 45 foot. So you can actually extend the length a little bit because the safety matters are not included in the length of the bus and coach you have to build. And this also includes the mirror, so you will get a more safe coach over here in the US, and I like it.
Behind me we have the MCI J4500. As you can see on the side, it's clean diesel. What we can see from last year, that there is less electric coaches here, and we have learned something. The market in US look at the charging systems, and they also look at the technology, and they can see that it's a little bit too early to join the electric future. So that's why they still focus on diesel engine in the coaches here. We have one electric coach in this show, but most of the brands focus on the diesel engine still.
Now we are at the ABC company's stand, and here we have quite a lot of buses. I think this is the stand with most vehicles here in 2024. On the side of me we do have the Van Hool, and behind me we also have the Van Hool lifted up so you can see how it's underneath as well. And they also have this Ford standing here on the stand.
Behind me we have the BYD. It's a first 3-axle coach from BYD I have seen. We have seen the city version, but not this one in a 3-axle. And first, when I take a look at it, it looks like they had digital mirrors outside, but they don't have. Another thing that you can see on the coach, that there's only 2 flaps that have space for the luggage. The rest of the bus is battery, battery and battery. First of all, when you see the design of the bus, it looks like a bus from the 60s, but still it's electric coach. So there is customers that want to buy it more or less because of the environmentally friendly vehicles. But when you go inside, you also expect something modern when we talk about electric coach. But it's old. The steering wheel is like a van I had on the 80s. The rest of interiors is old, smells even old. So I'm sorry to say it, but this is not a coach I was really enjoying to see and be inside. The old coach that is on the other side, that is from the 19s, looks even better and smells better inside. Behind me, you can see the 2 axles in front. This coach have 5 axles. And it's 60-foot long coach, articulated coach. You cannot buy these coaches anymore because it's not legal to drive on the highway in US with more than 45-foot coach. So this is really a rare coach on the road today. This is a vintage coach from 1991. It's a Prevost. So it's here because of the 100 years anniversary for the factory. And this is still running. This every Sunday you can take this coach in this area, go to a museum, take a look at all the coaches they have in the museum, and they take you back again to the city. I was really surprised when I went on board on this coach because first of all, when you go into it, it smells good, it looks good, it still looks good enough to be in service. You can see the driver area is not modern at all, but you have what you need. You have the buttons where you expect to have it, and it's only what you need. When you then go backwards in the coach, you can see the seats. They are really soft, big, and comfortably. I could choose to take a long ride on this coach even today. When you come to the middle of the coach, it's articulated part, and it looks like a dancing floor in the middle. It's turning dancing floor. And you can stand there because there is some rail to hold hands on. The next part is a sitting group where you can sit together with people, play cards and so on. And in the end of the coach, 60 foot in the end, you have the toilet and you have a rear door. And that's not common on the coach here in the US. We are at Tempa stand, and on my left side we have the big coach for the US market, and the model is TS45. It's a 45-foot long coach, and I'm surprised because we have Tempa in Europe, and in Europe it's like a cheap coach. That's something that you buy if you need a third, fourth, or a school bus. But here it's expensive, and it's on the same level as the Van Hool. We asked a second-hand bus seller about the market here, and they said that okay, first they want to have the MCI, Prevost, Van Hool and Tempa. And I was a little bit surprised because I could also see Cetra in his fleet. And I asked him about the Cetra, and he said no, the Cetra have too much technology. It is too expensive to maintain. And here you have a Tempa that is on the same level as Van Hool. It looks good even inside. So I believe they have put a lot of effort to build a great coach for the US market, but they forgot the European market. But one thing I could see, that this is not longer electric here. 2 years ago they launched the electric 45-foot long coach, and I was surprised because I was thinking, okay, we are 2 years later, it should be a big one or small one or both electric here, but they are back on the diesel. And I think it's the same as MCI and other brands. The infrastructure, the charging infrastructure in the US, it's not good enough for electric coaches for the moment. Behind me you can see the TS30. It's a small coach. It's identical to the MD9 we have in Europe, but this is also a little bit more beautiful in the design. They have more equipment and it looks more luxurious. We're not used to see too much minibuses like the TS30 behind me. It's more common here in the US to take a truck chassis and put a body like the Freightliner that we have on the other side here. And as you can see, we also have this here on the expo. This is a truck chassis with a front engine and a bus body behind. You have a very good capacity on the passenger side, but if you have too much luggage, you have a little bit problem because you have the chassis frame going between the axles, so you don't have the luggage compartment all the way through. But after the rear axle, you have it like an old Volvo B10. You have a lot of space, but still it's not big enough for 45, 50 passengers.
Thank you so much for watching the video here today, and if you like what you see, click down here on the button that's called subscribe, and then you will see all the future videos here from us in Bussmagasinet. Until next time, drive safely and have a great day.
the